Hi students and welcome to the class. The first thing you need to do is you need to go to aplusstudents.com. You need to go to the website, okay? And once you are on the website, you need to select math as your subject because this is a maths class, okay? Your grade level is grade 6 and the topic for today is two-dimensional figures, right? Figure is a shape. I'll give you the chapter number, Iconsley. I'll give you the chapter number. The chapter number for today is 30 and the lesson number is 3. The chapter for today is 30 and the lesson number is 3. And the name of the lesson is Classify Triangles. Okay. So we would be studying today about triangles. The word triangle means any shape that has 3 angles, right? And 3 sides. So let's go to grade 6. Just a minute, please. Grade 6. Chapter number 30. And lesson number 3. Okay. Okay, before doing anything, I would try to explain you some types of triangles. Okay. We'll do some explanation and then we'll do the questions. Okay. We know that a triangle is made up of 3 sides, right? But if a triangle has all 3 sides that are equal, okay, if all 3, see, if I made these double dashes, that means the lengths are equal, right? A triangle which has all 3 sides that are equal is known as equilateral, okay? Equilateral triangle, this triangle which has all sides of equal lengths. Let's look at another example of a triangle in which 2 of the sides of the triangle are equal. Okay. When 2 sides of the triangle are equal, it is known as isosceles. Isosceles triangle. Okay. So the 3 sides could be same, that would become equilateral. If 2 sides are same, it becomes isosceles. Okay. And if none of the sides are same, okay, that means all sides have a different length. Okay. If all sides have a different length, that means this triangle is known as scalene. Okay, scalene triangle. Okay, there is one more type of triangle that we need to keep in mind, that is a right angle triangle. Okay, a right angular triangle is a triangle in which one of the angles is right, that is 90 degrees. So we call this as a right angled triangle. Okay, so these are the basic 4 types of triangles that we would be considering. Okay, let's put it in a box so that we can carry it if we need to. Okay, these are the 4 types of triangles. A triangle which has all sides equal, equilateral. Okay, a triangle that has 2 sides equal, isosceles. A triangle which no sides are equal, that would be scalene. And the fourth type is a right angle. A right angle triangle has a 90 degree. Okay, I'll just write statements over here. Equilateral, all sides are same length. Okay. Isosceles, 2 sides are of same length. Scalene, all sides are different. Okay. So these are the 4 types of triangles that we would be considering. Let's go to the first question and let's see what they're asking us. Okay. And we also need to remember, okay, let's do one more thing before that. We have 4 types of angles also, right? If an angle between two lines is less than 90 degrees, right? If this angle is less than 90, if the angle is less than 90 degrees, right? It is known as a acute triangle. Acute angle, okay? In case of a triangle where the angle is perfectly 90 degrees, okay? I'll just make a box so that we can remove the excess, what we don't need. A shape where a triangle, like the fourth option, an angle where it is perfectly 90 degrees, right? For a 90, we always makes a box bracket, box angle, sure. That is 90. So if we can say that if the angle is equals to 90, so we can say right angle. This would be right angle. Agreed? So now what we did consider was less than 90. We took less than 90, acute angle. Is angle is equals to 90, right angle, right? So now we have considered less and greater. Now less and equal. Let's try greater than 90. Okay. So if the angle given to us is greater than 90, then the shape is, then this angle is known as, this angle will be known as, I'll write down the statement, if the angle is greater than 90 degrees, right? Greater than 90 means obtuse angle. Okay, that would be obtuse. And the last part is if we have a straight line, if we say we have a straight line, a line is always made up of, a line is always made up of 180 degrees. Okay, so if the angle is equals to 180 degrees, right? So what we say is it is forming a straight line. Keeping this information in our mind, we will try to solve the questions, okay? And we will try to see what possibilities do we have, okay? So we considered the equilateral triangle where all the angles were same. Isosceles triangle, two sides are same. Sorry, I have a sore throat, so sometimes I would like mute for a few seconds, okay? So scalene is where no sides are equal, and right angle is where there's right. Talking about the angles, less than 90, acute. 90 is right. Greater than 90 is obtuse. And is equals to 80 is, you can call it flat line, or I would say a straight line, right? It would become a line. Okay. So let's start off with the first question. Hi, everyone. Let's do, I could not read the messages earlier. I'm just looking through the messages. Okay. They are telling us what kind of a triangle is this. Okay. In question number 1, they're asking us what kind of a triangle does this shape look like? This is question number 1. So looking at this triangle, we can say that I think all the sides are of different lengths, right? So if all the sides are of different length, we can say this is a scalene triangle, right? But we can also rename it one other option, right? All the angles of this triangle are always other than the right? In this case, all the angles are acute. So we can also say that this is a acute angled triangle. So we can identify this shape with either of these. It can be a scalene because we can say all the three sides look different, right? They look different lengths. So that would become scalene. And since all the angles are acute, that means we can also say it's an acute angle triangle. Agreed? Moving on to the next question. Okay. Let's pick it up. Let's copy the next question. This is again a scalene, but let's see what else can we say about this. Okay. For question number 2, yes, it is a scalene, right? But do we see any angle that, see, this angle is acute, this angle is acute, right? But this angle over here is more than 90. So this is obtuse, right? We also need to remember that if we add all the three angles of a triangle, right? The sum of the angles A plus angle B plus angle C should always be equals to 180. Okay? We need to remember this condition. The sum of all the angles inside a triangle can never be greater than 180. It has to be equals to 180. Okay? So in question number 2, we can say that two angles are acute, but we also have one obtuse angle, right? So can we say this is a obtuse angled triangle? That means one angle is greater than 90 degrees, right? If it would be accurately 90, then it will become right angle. Good. But if it's greater than 90, then it is obtuse. Thank you. Okay. The next question we have is, they're saying what kind of a triangle is this? Okay. So let's see for question number 3. If this question is given to us, we can see that all the sides are of different lengths, right? It will be a scalene, okay? Don't worry about that. Prem and Prinsley, let's focus, okay? So if we have a triangle that is scalene, right? But they're asking what kind of a triangle. So we will say either it's obtuse, acute, or right? So can we say that this angle is acute? This angle was acute, but this angle was obtuse. Agreed? So again, we say that this question number 3 is a obtuse angled triangle. So whenever we use the term obtuse angle triangle, we would know that there is one angle that is greater than 90 degrees. Okay. Okay. In question number 1, all these three angles were acute. Okay. That's why it was acute angle, right? This was the reason why this was acute angle triangle. Okay. If all three angles are acute, then only it is acute. Let's look at the next one. So in this case, if we say in question number 4, let's see whether it's acute or obtuse. Question number 4. What kind of a triangle is this? In question number 4, can we say all these angles look like they are acute, right? This angle is acute. What about the other one? This angle is acute. And even the last angle, that is acute. So when all the angles are acute, then the triangle would be, yes, thank you. Then the triangle would be acute angled triangle. Okay. This is simple, but let's see, because we have to go step by step, right? Let's see if we can make it a little difficult in one of the questions, okay? If the difficulty level is easy, I'll make it more difficult for you so that we can understand more, okay? So for question number 6, sorry, question number 5, can we say this angle is acute, this angle is less than 90, this is also acute. But what about the third angle? How can we say what is the third angle? See, the easiest way to know if the angle is acute, right, or obtuse is we use a ruler, okay? We can use the ruler, or what we can do is, let's suppose we make a plus sign over here. Okay, I'll just make a plus sign at this given angle, okay? Just trying to explain. So if I make a plus sign over here, can I say a plus sign will always be 90 degree, right? So if we take this angle over here, if we are taking this angle, this is already 90, but this is more than 90, agreed? Then we can say that this angle has to be obtuse. Okay, so the answer would be obtuse angled triangle. Agreed? Thank you. Just a moment, please. Question we have is question number 6, and it says a very similar question, but a different perspective, right? So in question number 6, what we can say is, what is this triangle? What is question number 6? Acute, obtuse, or right? See, we can say that this angle was acute. We can say this is acute, right? It's a closing angle. But we are having a problem with the last one. So can we just simply draw a plus sign over here? And let's see, is this angle more than 90? Yes, it is more than 90. That means this angle is obtuse. Even if you have a single angle that is obtuse, that would change the characteristics of the triangle, and we will call this triangle as an obtuse angle triangle. Okay, one thing we saw that 3 angles in any given triangle, right? Okay, after this example, the next question, I'll give you a tricky question, okay? So we'll see. So question number 7, question number 8 would be my question, okay, for you people. Question number 7, we can say this is acute, right? This is acute, and this is acute. Agreed? So if all 3 angles are acute, then this would be, it was simple, right? Acute angled triangle. So keeping this in mind, I would say that in question number 9, I'll write a statement. All three acute angled triangle is possible, right? I'll give a statement. I'm giving a correct statement, right? But is all three obtuse as sided or angled, but is all three obtuse angled triangle possible? For the first statement, we already have the answer. Okay, this can be a reference point. This can be the reference point. All acute angles, right? This was acute, acute, and acute. It is possible, right? So my question is now, if there were three acute angles, it was possible, right? Can a triangle have all three obtuse angles? Can a triangle have all three obtuse angles? Anyone? For question number 9, we know that a triangle can have all three sides which are acute, right? A triangle can be there having three angles that are acute. My question is it possible that all the three angles are obtuse in a triangle? Okay, very good. Thank you, Princely. It's not possible. Why? See, we say that obtuse, yes, it is not possible, right? Thank you for the answer. Let's see why. Obtuse angle is greater than 90 degrees, right? So let's suppose if we say if obtuse angle was, we consider 95 degrees, right? So if we make, okay, 95 degrees for each angle, right? Sorry, let's make it 8. Okay, sorry. Sorry. Okay. It's just the numbering, okay? So if we consider 95 for all three obtuse, right? So can we say 95 plus 95 plus 95? And the answer would come out to be 270 and 285, right? 285, which is not possible for a triangle, because we know that the triangle angle A plus angle B plus angle C, in a triangle, the sum of all the angles A plus B plus C can only be 180 degrees. But if all the three angles are obtuse, right, the answer will be more than 180. That is not possible for us, right? So one obtuse with two acutes is possible, and three acute is also possible, right? Thank you so much, Princely. Sorry, I have a sore throat. That's why I mute for a few seconds, okay? Moving on to the next question. So we cannot, what we understood was three acute angles in a triangle is possible, but not more than one obtuse angle is possible, right? If there is one obtuse, we are okay. But even if there are two obtuse angles, the triangle would not be possible, right? Okay. In this case, what kind of a triangle is this? Can we say this is acute? Can we say this is acute? What about the third one? Okay. For the third one, what we can do is we can make a plus sign on the axis on this triangle at this point, and we can see whether it's greater than 90 or less than 90, right? Okay, this would be acute, this is right, and this would be obtuse angle, right? So we can say this angle is obtuse. So if even one angle is obtuse, if even one angle is obtuse, then yes, thank you, the entire triangle would be obtuse angled triangle, right? Okay, what about if I would say we have a new question, question number 10, and in question number 10 they are saying if we have a shape something like this. Okay, what is this triangle for question number 10? See, we can say this angle was acute, right? This is also acute. But when we look at the third angle, right? So if we make a plus sign over here and we would want to see if it's obtuse or not, what we see is it's perfectly lying on the plus sign. That means this angle has to be 90 degrees, right? No, this angle has to be 90, right? This is not greater. This is exactly equal to 90, right? And whenever an angle is exactly, Princely, whenever the angle is exactly equals to 90, no. The first two angles were acute, right? This is acute, this is acute. What about the third? The third only had two possibilities, right? Either it would be obtuse or it would be right. Right means 90 degrees. Either it would be 90 degrees or it could be greater than 90, right? What we can see is in this diagram, this is not obtuse. It is perfectly 90 degrees, right? So whenever in any triangle, we have a box angle, okay? If we have a box angle, right? So we say this triangle is a, okay, right angled triangle, okay? Can you people see a right angle around you? Okay. Can anyone give me an example of a right angle around them? See, if I would say this is the wall and this is the floor, the wall and the floor always makes a right angle, right? This is one of the examples for a right angle. Okay. So we are also considering a right angle triangle. So we have three options. Acute, all three angles are acute. Obtuse, two are acute, one is obtuse. And in the right angle, two are acute, one is right angle, okay, 90 degrees. So we need to consider 90 as well. Okay, moving ahead with the next question. Okay, can anyone give me what this next question refers to? Question number 11. What kind of a triangle is this in question number 11? See, all the angles are merging over here, right? This is acute. This is closing angle. That means this is also acute. What about the third angle? If we want to confirm, can we draw an axis over here? If we say we draw an axis with this line, sorry. if we draw an axis with this line, okay, that means when we make a plus sign, it would be something like this. Okay, just a moment. That means if we are starting with this angle at this point, right? So this angle is not touching the plus sign. That means it's still less than 90. So we can say this is also acute. So having three acute angles would mean it is a acute angled triangle. Okay, thank you. Thank you for answering, Princely. The next question we have is, it looks very similar. I just skip to the next one. What kind of a triangle is this? The next shape. Okay. For question number 12, identify what kind of a triangle is this? Okay. Is it acute or obtuse? It cannot be right because we cannot see that 90-degree anywhere, right? For question number 12, Prem, what kind of a triangle is this? We can say this is acute. This is acute. What about the last one? If we draw an axis over here and we make a plus sign, sorry, I'll just make a plus sign, right? So can we say this angle, is it less than 90 or is it more than 90? It is more than 90, yes. Thank you. Thank you, Princely. So this triangle, even if there is a single obtuse angle, the triangle becomes obtuse angled triangle, okay? Let's start off with some questions from the test. Let's do some questions. Okay, let's click on the test together so that we have the questions, same questions. I would say we are doing the test. I'll just highlight this. And the first question for the test that is given to us is, I would need the option number, okay? If it's option number A or option number B. It's just taking some time to load. Yes, it's on the screen. I'll just copy. Okay, the three options are given to us, right? And in the first question, what they're saying is, what kind of a triangle is this? Is it obtuse? Is it acute? Or is it right? What kind of a triangle is this? Let's do it together. For a triangle to be right angle, there must be one 90-degree. We know that we cannot see a 90-degree. Okay, so that means it's not a right. What about, we have two options left, obtuse or acute. What do you think this triangle is? Is it an acute angle triangle or is it an obtuse? Just a minute, okay. Option 1, obtuse. Thank you. Why? Because one angle is bigger than 90. Thank you so much. This is an obtuse angle triangle. We click onto the obtuse. It shows us that our answer is correct. We move on to the next question. There are 30 questions over here, but they would be very simple questions, okay? Maybe 10 seconds per question, right? If you're doing it on your own. So please do complete it after. Whatever we can complete, we'll complete. The remaining questions, you complete at home, okay? For your own practice. Okay. What about this? Do we see any, in question number 2, do we see any right angle, 90 degrees? No, we do not see any 90 degrees, right? What about the angles? What about the three angles? Do we see any, even a single? See, in the previous question, where this was obtuse, right? So because of this obtuse, this became out. But the remaining two angles were still acute, right? This was acute. So that means any triangle given to us will have, yes, thank you. Any given, thank you. Option number 3, acute is correct. For question number 2, what I'm saying is any shape, may it be obtuse, may it be right, or may be acute, they will have at least two acute angles, okay? The third angle will identify which shape it is, okay? So we can say this was acute, this was acute, right? And this was also acute. So we had, in this case, we had 3 acute, and that was option number 3. Thank you so much for your answer. Moving ahead, I'll click on acute. Yes, it is acute. Moving ahead, what kind of a triangle is this? The next triangle we have is a little different shape. Question number 3. Okay, sorry, let's change the size, resize this. Okay. And the question number 3 states that what kind of a triangle is this? Okay. Can you help me out with this? What kind of a triangle is in question number 3? Do we see any right angle? Do we see any right angle? A right angle is an angle when two lines are intersecting at 90 degrees, right? We do not see a right angle. That means right is not possible. Yes, there is one obtuse angle which will change the shape into an obtuse triangle, okay? Thank you so much. Question number 4. This was obtuse. Okay, the next question we have is what kind of a triangle is this? Very similar question. Just the little difference in the shape. What kind of a triangle is this? For question number 4. Do we see any? There has to be two acute angles, right? For any triangle, because triangle can only have 3 sides. So 2 angles have to be acute. So we pick the acute angles. This was acute. Let's suppose this was acute. So it all depends on the third angle, which could be acute, obtuse, or right. Do we see this as a 90 degree? No. The third angle is not 90, right? So we say it's not a right angle. It could be acute or it could be obtuse. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Princely. This is also acute. So we say this is a acute triangle. Going to the next question. Because this, when you're just looking at the types of triangles, right? So we have very limited possibilities for that, right? So many of the questions would look to you like they are just being a repetition of each other, just because once we have identified, finding the angles will have more possibilities on it, okay? So what about this? We can say no right angle, so right is not possible, okay? The easiest way to do an MCQ, multiple choice question, is if there are 3 options, one option would be very vague, right? So you always cancel out the incorrect answer, which cannot be ever possible, right? Then you are only left with 2 options. If we have 3 options, that means we have to select between 3. But if we remove the right, then now we have a 50-50% chance, right? It could be obtuse, it could be acute. We have to do less work now. So we say that, do we find any acute? Yes, acute angle, and acute angle. That means the option number 2 is acute. Thank you. Moving ahead. Thank you, Prinsley. That was acute. Okay, let's see if we have, okay, we have a different shape now. And we say this is given as, okay, question number 6. Question number 6 is given as this shape. So can we say can we find a right angle in this? A 90 degrees? I don't think so. We cannot find a 90, right? Because the shape does not have a 90. We can say this is acute. The smallest two angles would be acute, right? Sorry, I'll write it again. Yes, thank you. This is also acute. And the third angle we had was obtuse, because that means the option number 3 is the correct answer. Thank you so much, Chrisley. Okay. Moving ahead to question number 7. Question number 7 states that what kind of a triangle is this? Okay. Question number 7, A, B, or C? Sorry, apologies for that. What kind of a triangle is it? See, this is very repetitive, but repetition makes us perfect, right? So we will try to do all questions, okay? Because doing it again and again will remove the chance of being incorrect. So we do not see a 90 degree, it's not a right angle. What we see is this angle is acute. This angle is acute. Even if two angles are acute, then it can be obtuse, right? But we look at the third angle, it's still acute. All three angles are acute. Yes, option number 2. Thank you, Prinsley. Let's do another. Okay, let's do another question. Okay, just a minute, please. What kind of a triangle is this? Question number 8. Let's make up a question number 8. Okay, and let me just copy the options. Okay. So the options that, the options that are given to us are what kind, obtuse, acute, and right. Okay, I'm just copying the options. Okay. So these are the options that are given to us. Let's make a triangle. Okay. If we have this triangle and we select this, and let's suppose if we flip vertical, okay, if this is given to us, so what kind of a triangle is this? In question number 8, what kind of a triangle do we see? Do we see, if we make a plus sign over here, do we see the line falling exactly, this side falling on this side and this side? That means this angle is 90, right? And whenever we have a 90-degree angle in any given triangle, it cannot be obtuse, it cannot be acute, it has to be what should be the answer? Whenever we have a 90-degree angle in a triangle, right? The triangle should be the answer. Can this be an obtuse triangle or acute or right? We have 3 options over here, right? It could be obtuse, acute, and right. And we know that, see, let's look at the previous examples, right? When all the three angles were acute, we said it was an acute triangle, right? When two angles were acute, but one angle was obtuse, we said it is obtuse angle. Op- Acute means less than 90. Obtuse means greater than 90, right? But over here we can see a 90-degree angle, right? And whenever we have a 90-degree angle, we say it is a right angle triangle, right? This is a right angled triangle because one angle is 90 degrees. Okay, we need to remember this. Okay, please do complete the remaining questions. They're just like looking at the picture, assessing them, and clicking one option out of this, right? It is very easy. You just need to find one obtuse to make it obtuse. You need to find one right angle to make it right angle triangle. Otherwise, all three would be acute and it would stay as an acute angle triangle. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a nice day and please do complete the test. Okay.